who contribute to our field. And I must say, most of the board was male then. We have more female participation currently. And they loved the idea. So right away, there was a lot of support for this concept, and actually a challenge from Dr. Mazitis to find a female that we can name it after, since we have the Papanikolaou Symposium. He said, Stella, so what are you going to call this female symposium? So then began the hard work of trying to figure out a worthy, historically relevant person to name the symposium. And I was very fortunate to come across a Greek lecture. Luckily I could read Greek pretty well, well, at least well enough, about the history of Dr. Mαίρης Καλαποθάκη. And for today, I would like to just refer to the program, and you can review that since we want to try to be more precise with our time, especially we have the General Assembly today. And next year will be the 5 year, so we'll also do something more historical about her life and tribute. I want to thank also the National Herald that always has supported this conference, but also the historical tracking of information about Mαίρης Καλαποθάκη. They sent reporters in 2012 in Greece, and they met with John Sevas, and they wrote a very long tribute in the Γυναίκα Περιοδικό that also in Greek you can find on the internet. It's openly accessible. Chronicling the history of Mαίρης Καλαποθάκη with multiple articles as well on the role of women in medicine in ancient Greeks as well as modern times. And that's also a very interesting feature. You could search that in National Herald. If anyone's interested, I can also send them a copy of that. So we're lucky to have their participation today as well. Mαίρης Καλαποθάκη was born in 1859, and she was one of the few females that studied medicine in Europe. She received her medical degree in France. So today, in the spirit of the Mαίρης Καλαποθάκη Award, we are honoring Dr. Anagnostopoulos, Anastasia. Dr. Anastasia Anagnostopoulos is a very loved member of our society. And has a long history of participation and a lot of friends and support, and thank you for coming to support her and her award today. She is a pathologist. She trained in Greece, and I guess because her husband, who was a clinical cardiologist, wanted to come to the States for residency, she also, took to the challenge and came. And to her credit, she learned the language and then was able to be accepted in residency after only a year and a half of being in this country. She trained she had completed her medical degree at the University of Athens in Roosevelt Hospital, New York, and was chief resident and fellow at Long Island Jewish with a surgical pathology fellowship in cytopathology. She has a very long and productive career, successfully overseeing as director of the clinical and anatomical laboratories in the blood bank. She's been working at St. Francis Hospital in East Hill, New York for, I think she told me, 35 years, is that correct? Yeah. And has participated in other positions as assistant clinical professor at Columbia University, physicians and surgeons, as a member of several committees at St. Francis, including the Chairs Committee, the Medical Executive Committee, the Cancer Committee, the Tissue and Procedures Committee, and the Continuing Medical Education Committee, as well as the Blood Utilization Committee, which she was the chair for 20 years. Oh, the light is not good. Hold on, let me see.
If anyone who's on the board wants to come up for a picture, Mike, in your scrubs, or yes or no?
Come, Mike,
feel
please.
Feel
Spiro,
free.
you can come, please. Past president, Spiro Mazitis.
Why don't we come over here so there's no...
Yeah. Dr. Smith, since you're also a speaker, because we'll take a picture for this evening. Yes, yes, please. Yes, come.
Wait a second. I can see something talking. Okay. I see how it looks, so I can write it in my journal.
Doctor, I guess we
Okay. Thank you for the honor. Thank you all for coming. And I'll try to talk to you within half an hour to give you to talk about lung cancer and give you a summary of some subjects that I thought they were very important, and also they were understanding to all of us. I'm going to talk about epidemiology, risk factors, prevention, symptoms, early diagnosis, classification and staging, and I'm going to touch histology, molecular studies, and the new targeted and immune treatments that are in place right now. I'm going to start with epidemiology. Lung cancer is the leading cause of death from cancer in the United States and all around the world. And it has been such since 1950s for men and the 1980s for women. The best way to prevent the cancer is to make them realize how serious the consequences are, to provide counseling to them, and to try to find medicine that helps them to stop the addiction, and stop the addiction. Environmental causes. There are many. Okay. The second most common cause of lung cancer is the radon gas. Radon gas is the end product of uranium. It is in small quantities. Uranium is all over the surface of the earth, within the soil and within rocks. Outdoors, the concentration is small, so it's not harmful. But inside our houses, especially basement of old houses with a lot of tubing in the ground, the concentration is high and the radon gas is harmful. Asbestos. Asbestos is another risk factor that give us different types of cancers, especially in great quantities, in high quantities. It gives us mesothelioma, a cancer of the pleura. But it gives lung